Hi, and welcome to the podcast where we're all besties because we love all things Bravo, pop culture, and can't stop talking about it. I'm Caitlin Marshall, your host here at Besties by Bravo, where we are in a safe space to share our thoughts.
That's my opinion!
About the Bravo celebrities and celebs we love, hate, and love to hate.
So be cool. Don't be all, uncool.
Because it's all for fun. And there is a possibility that we may hit a nerve. We have been blocked by Lisa Rinna on Instagram. You guys, Jen Shaw blocked me.
Yeah, I guess.
Either way, we're all friends here. So, thanks for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hi, Besties. Thanks for joining this week. I am excited to have my dear friend, Jessie Nails of the Reality Witch podcast joining me again. Y'all, I really got to talk this Vanderpump Rules mess with a good friend who just loves the drama as much as I do. So, of course, I'm having her back on. And again, you know where you can find her on TikTok or on Instagram. She is at Reality Witch. And her podcast is available literally anywhere you listen to podcasts. And hey, I hope you guys enjoy the show. And thanks for joining this week. Here comes everything with the Sandoval. I'm so glad we are getting together to do this.
Me too. I've been dying to talk to you and at least someone else about this stuff, so I'm pleased.
Me in particular, of course.
Yes, of course. You're definitely, you get it the most, so.
Our group chat has really just been flying off the handle, so, and what we're referring to. Sandoval.
Of course.
Sandoval. Y'all, okay, we have a lot to cover here.
Yeah, I tried to too, I just put up a quick TikTok just being this is what we're talking about, and it's I mean, honestly, I don't think people are sick of talking about it because people are still talking about it, but there's literally, which I knew would happen, there's update after there's something coming out twice a day, every day. So if you listen to your last episode or my last episode, this is not repetitive. This is all new stuff.
It is. And you know what? I wasn't going to do this. I'm just going to put the disclaimer that you and I are basically doing a joint episode. So if it sounds for a minute, Caitlin here is leading. And then for a minute, Jesse's leading. It's because we're both just we're trying a new thing here. So.
Yeah. And this isn't to trick anybody. It's just there's no point, not that there's no point, but we just should talk about this once. We don't need to have two separate conversations
we do with our texts and then between our two different Instagram accounts and then on TikTok.
Yeah, so we'll go literally, I'll be wait, what did I talk? I already forget what I talk about on my podcast. This would put me over the edge. I would be so confused with what I said.
Yeah, because y'all, Jessie and I both are big into doing our Google Doc notes because there's so much, especially with this, that it's easy to forget. And I think we have 8 pages here. I
know. Well, you just take little notes and then I said, with this, everyone's this story's so crazy. It's literally taking the world by storm. I saw it was on CNN trending,
New York Times,
and it's
LA
just
Times.
Yeah, and it's just there's so much stuff coming out, and there's little stuff, but it means so much that you have to write it down, or because it's so important. It seems like.
Yeah, and I'm gonna refer to our notes here because you had a very great point of something we need to talk about. I'm very embarrassed.
We fell for Patrick Sommers.
I did, and I know better, y'all. I do. I even messaged him because I
forgot you messaged him. He still lied.
He did. Y'all, God, I just got lost in the sauce of it all, and I was oh my God, Patrick's posting that Tom Sandoval is it was screwing around with his friend Julia. He literally photoshopped these text messages as screenshots, and it was the Bravo Bros that I saw who debunked it because they had receipts of what the actual text messages were, and Patrick was saying, "Oh, you were screwing around my friend Julia," and said something about in these texts about, "Oh, you made her get an abortion," type of thing, and then made it look like Tom Sandoval called him the F word, which Tom Sandoval is a piece of shit, but I don't see him doing that. I just don't.
No, I don't see him doing that either. I think it was just, I talked about this on my last episode of like, because it was when it first came out. So I just kind of recapped everything I saw, and like honestly, like it kind of made sense in this grand scheme of the story. And yeah, so I just wanted to make sure I said like that wasn't accurate or real, at least to our knowledge, because it's like, and it would like honestly, like I don't even give ourselves shit for believing it, because for one thing, I'm bad at catching bad Photoshop, I guess. Like I'm bad at catching like faked text, DMs. Like to me that looked real. And like I think when he lied about the Rinna and Kathy shit, like that was so dumb and like light, and like I mean, well, it's not light, but like it's just like, okay, like it could be faked, it could not faked. This was like so unbelievably dark that I was like, once I found out that it was faked, I was like, this guy needs fucking help. Like, who's friends with this guy in real life? Like, who, like, you're not joking, but, like, kind of, like, lying about abortions, like, forced abortions, which happen to so many women all the time by their, like, I don't know, significant other or someone that they're with or hooking up. Like, it's not something to joke about. So I was like, this has to be real, because it's just, you have to be a psycho.
Well, yeah, and using derogatory gay slurs in there as well. Like, I don't know.
Like, what's wrong with, like, there's something seriously, like, wrong with him. Like, I need to know who's in his, like, actual inner circle, because, like, that's just not good.
Well, if you went through his friends list, which I had a follower do, and she sent it to me, there was only one Julia, and the last name was Sandoval.
Oh, my God.
Weird? And so I asked him, because I don't know, like I said, I lost my damn mind. I was bugging. Poor Dumois has been having to deal with my annoying ass too.
I mean, Caitlin, let's keep it real though. Like, you have like, that's a flex because she answers your DMs. Like, I mean, you're not DMing Dumois and getting ignored. You're getting answered.
It's rare, okay? Like, most people ignore me, okay? they just should. But I mean, I am like a full-on fucking crackhead. Like, give me the juice. Like, God, what is wrong with me? So
no, I mean, I was snowboarding like all day, just waiting for like these texts that everyone kept saying were going to come out, and like it's all consuming. But
right, and that's what
Patrick
I
Summers should be arrested.
His account got taken down. I remember, because I was messaging with Jessie, and I was like, oh my God, look at what he's posting, because he posted. To his story, Jeff Lewis was having like an absolute fucking meltdown on his podcast one day about Dumois, and his own producers completely trolled him because he was trying to say what Dumois was saying was absolutely not true, and someone should sue Dumois and all this shit. And it was about him like going off on, I don't know, some staff at a restaurant, and they literally put together a compilation of Jeff Lewis talking about going off on staff.
How he's always going.
Yeah, and it was hilarious. And he even laughed at it. But Patrick Summers posted that because to his story, because Dumois was saying on her story, no, these are completely faked. I mean, Patrick was faking actual like video screen recordings. I don't even know how you do that. Am I too old? Like, am I in the elder millennial area? I don't think I'm an elder millennial.
I mean, I personally don't know how to do that.
No.
But, and also like it takes me far too long to just like create an Instagram post. I can't even imagine how long it would take me to fake a screen recording. But I guess if that's all this homie's doing, he's just like waiting to hop on controversies within the Bravo universe. Like, he's a very confusing human being.
He is. And his account was taken down, though. And because that's what you were like, I can't see his content. We both got really excited thinking he blocked Jessie.
Yeah, I thought I was blocked, which would have been really great. I would have liked that.
It would have been a flex. It would have.
Yeah.
It was like...
That would have been my flex. Getting blocked by Patrick Summers. Yours is conversing with Dumois.
Honestly, that's probably a better flex than being blocked by Rinna and Jenshaw.
That's true.
I'll take it. Because she was really nice about it. And I guess the whole thing with those receipts we were talking about is Dumois had posted a blind saying that someone had written in saying that one of Raquel's friends is going to be posting receipts and it's going to be the final nail in her coffin. So my psycho ass is like messaging Dumois, and I'm like, could you give us, you don't have to give us the entire nail. Do you know anything? Could you give us a screw, a splinter of her coffin, anything? And I think she was probably like, God bless this woman. She is out of her
yeah, she's like,
mind.
God.
Yeah, she's like, full on crackhead. So should we get into the stuff that we do know?
Yeah, let's do it. First off is the restraining order, which is just unbelievable. Like,
I can't believe a judge ended up granting this. Because here's the thing. She did get Rachel. We're going to call her Rachel. I know it's going to be hard. I'm going to call her Raquel a few times by accident, but
yeah, I try to call her Rachel.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rachel filed and was granted that temporary restraining order against Sheena, which is helping her get out of the reunion. So I've had followers like be very vocal in my DM saying, I would rather have Rachel, see, already. I would rather have Rachel at the reunion and Sheena zoom in.
Oh, yeah.
And like, yes, I get it. Is it fair? No. But tell me what you thought of the photos that she used for evidence.
The photos, I don't believe anything. I don't believe a damn thing. I think this is all bullshit. I mean, for one thing, you can't get a restraining order against a stalker half the time, but Sheena Shea allegedly pushes you into some fucking wall and you get one within like 24 hours. Like, that alone is ridiculous. Sheena is not threatening. So like,
we have never seen her get physical.
No. And it is just like a cop out to get out of the reunion, let's be honest. But I think the photos do her no justice. So again, we're posting this on both platforms. So
yes.
Caitlin does not have to align with everything that I say. But like, it's like, drink every time a Bravo fan says, well, we don't condone violence ever. Violence is never the answer. But like, sometimes it fucking is. You're out with this bitch that you've been defending all season. And in fact, like, almost losing friends because you're defending her. And then you find out she's been lying to you for you're on a PR tour, basically, doing like podcasts, interviews, everything. And then you find out that she not only has been lying to you for a year, she's been fucking your best friend's, essentially her husband.
Yeah.
Like, let's just call him her husband at this, because like, he
it's
basically
common law
is.
in California.
Yeah.
They are common law.
I can tell you right now, I would push a bitch at the very least.
Oh,
like, I think it's fine if any physical altercation came. I think it's like, stop saying like, we don't support violence, but I would do this. Like, it's just, sometimes people deserve to get slapped around a little bit. And I think Raquel deserved it. However, I don't even think Sheena did anything. Like, if anything, like, if the scratch on her eye is even real, that almost does just look like a get away from me shove. Who knows, like, how drunk Raquel, who knows how drunk they were if she stumbled. Like, that was not, like, and like, it comes out that, you know, people are saying she's had this like bruised for a while, but I just don't think the photos look like anything, if I'm being honest.
So the spot that is under her eye, I was like, I do see a spot that looks like a bruise, but one of Sheena's friends, and he is friends with both Sheena and Rachel, he was posting, what's his name? Kale, I have it in here. I'm sorry. Kale Ramsey Ackerman.
Oh, yeah.
And
Carl.
From what I understand, he's sober. And so it's not like, I don't know if he was there. So that's why I'm prefacing he's sober. So it's like, if he was there, then he would have been a sober party witnessing it. If that's the case, I don't know. But he was posting the photos of Rachel with this same bruising kind of shadowed mark under the same eye before Watch What Happens Live. So it's not like, I mean, it just doesn't line up.
And nothing looks like swollen or anything.
No.
Like, she posted all those photos, her eyes look like they're exactly the same size. Like, nothing's like like no eyes like closing. I fully believe, okay, like I said, the most I think could have happened is like maybe Sheena punched her. I keep hearing, like, one story I heard was like, you know, like maybe Sheena was like walking away or pissed and Raquel was trying to like grab her, or sorry, Rachel, grab her or like be like, no, like come back. And like, some people are saying that's when Sheena just kind of like shoved her off and maybe pushed her. So it's like, if anything, I think it's maybe something like that. But like, I agree with like the statements, just full opinion, because I obviously have no idea. But I agree with the statements that I don't think Sheena really did much. And I honestly think, like, we'll get into her lawyer's statement, but like, that's also why I think she was probably quiet for a few days, because like, she's probably like, we need to figure this out. Like, I didn't do this. This is stupid almost. Like,
well, and on Kristen Doty's podcast, I just forgot, what's it? Sex, Love, and what else, I think is the name of it.
something like
that. Yeah. And so Kristen was saying, I trust a lot of Kristen's account on it. She basically said that, yeah, what you were saying, that part of what the issue was is, so Ariana, I guess, had called Rachel to be like, bitch, what the fuck? And she knew she was with Sheena, and Sheena was asking Rachel, they were at like a bar or something, like kind of like, what are you doing? And Rachel so casually just said, I've been having an affair with Tom Sandoval for months, and Ariana's calling me to talk about it. And so that's when Sheena lost it and was like, get the fuck away from me. And then she took her phone, I guess, Rachel's phone, and threw it like in the gutter. And then she wouldn't get off of her, so she pushed her into a brick wall. Because here's the thing, y'all, I've said this more than once now, the type of up punch, like Sheena would have to Superman a hoe. Yeah. Like she would. She would have to. And like it would, I don't know, like I don't know if Sheena's cross punch is really that like intense. I mean, but if it would have been a jab because looks like it was on her left eye. So anyway, regardless, it just didn't seem, and Rachel seemed to have like a full set of like lashes on and makeup when she sent the photo to TMZ. Rachel,
and like her one, I look like the one photo, like I want timestamps on these photos because the one she was in full glam, the one she was just like pouting almost in like a cheeky way, like
with glasses on, like in her car. Like, but and so she had a Band-Aid over her eyebrow. Yeah,
so like I don't know, they don't seem real to me. And like I just like a gust of wind could blow Raquel over, so even if Sheena just pushed her, like it's just it doesn't seem like the most violent act that we're like literally Stassi, like Kristen,
we've
like,
seen them,
I could see them
throw down a little bit.
If this was them, be like, they probably did punch her in the face, which I'd still say she deserved it, but I just can't see Sheena doing this, like, which makes it more fucked up because like
of all the
everyone
people.
Everyone keeps saying like it is a lie, so it's really fucked up to like press charges and have a restraining order if like she really didn't punch you in the face. Like, well,
exactly. And that's why, like, oh my God. So I'll just jump to this and then we'll go back up here. So you were saying Sheena's attorney responded. I'll let you go ahead and read that.
Where are we at? Okay, the attorney. So this case is a fabrication by a known liar and a cheat who has betrayed everyone close to her. Sheena never punched Rachel, period. The supposed dark markings around her left eye have been there for months. Neither Sheena nor other cast members want anything to do with Rachel going forward. The judge has only heard a one-sided account of what happened, and we look forward to presenting the full and true story at the March 29th hearing.
Oh, and your birthday. Isn't that your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, happy
that's
birthday
being a day to remember.
So, okay. Well, this is the thing, too, is that this temporary restraining order prevents Sheena from being within 100 yards, the stereotype, the typical thing. But another thing that and this part is very alleged, but that would have possibly been keeping Rachel from going to the reunion is she may have possibly forged vaccination records for COVID vaccine.
She fucking would. Now that I'm just looking at her face more, I'm like, you would. You do look like you'd fucking fake your vaccinations.
We all are looking at her side eyes now.
Yeah. Which I thought maybe in the beginning they were just saying like, I don't know, like, obviously I know you need proof, but I guess I didn't think that she'd have a fake like vaccination card. And I don't know what it is now, but like back in the day, COVID, like that is like a federal offense.
Yeah. Like I remember I went to a Avalanche game, a hockey game here in Denver with my dad, and you had to show your vaccination card with your ticket. So, and it's easy to kind of forget that things were like that now that, things are the way they are. But that's pretty bad. And that's also what if there were people who were immune compromised on that set? And that's putting them at risk, we're not going too far into it, but the purpose of vaccination is that it creates the herd immunity with that. So, whatever.
And also just goes with, like, she's a fucking liar. Because it's like every season she was in, she just came across as this, like, just, I mean, not perfect, but like goody two shoes, like sweet, like almost would never lie or put anyone at risk of anything. And so if she's lying about that, it just kind of goes with like well, she's just a liar. I mean, now we know she is, but it's just one more thing she's lied about.
Yeah, I mean, she could barely fucking speak up until this season.
Yeah.
You know, like, what the hell? Like,
So so I guess I listen to Chicks in the Office sometimes, the Barstool podcast. And so they were there Wednesday. When was Tom's show? Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Raquel and Sheena were there Wednesday. And, like, obviously, like, it wasn't out yet, but they said Raquel was, like, almost the table was shaking. Like, she was so nervous and, like, weird. There were, like, every time we asked her a question, we could tell she was so uneasy. It was almost like she felt like something was going to happen. Like, because, like, they said, like, which is weird because, again, in the season, she's not like that anymore.
No.
But then, like, they said during her interview, like, she was just, like, basically convulsing the table. That's how shaky and nervous she was.
Well, it's bizarre to me, and bear with me because I'm going to dive into, like, some pageant analysis here. If she speaks before, I mean, truly, like, the thing is, like, when you get to on-stage question, there is a reason why she didn't make the top 5 when she competed, because top 5, you get 3 questions. One, you know, at least when it was state level, you know it's going to be one that is ahead of time that you can prepare for. And there's a set of questions. And then there are 2 more. One is, they're typically from 2 judges. And those are the ones you don't know. And so if you're not someone who can even handle answering questions that you are literally being asked multiple times a week, on different platforms, can you imagine? So an interview, and that's part of the pageant judging process. There's, with the USA Universe system, there's swimsuit, evening gown, and then interview. And I spoke on this on another podcast episode of my own podcast, where I was saying, you know, they judge you prelims or swimsuit, then evening gown, and then you go to bed, and the next morning you complete prelim judging by going to interview. So that is how she made top 15. She got 3/4 of her scores in before she opened her mouth.
Just for looks.
Yes, that's it. And they literally say that. They would tell us, we tell the judges, I'm sorry, this is just true. I remember very specifically being told this when I was like 17 years old, that they tell the pageant directors will tell the judges, when they get their top 5 and get on stage question, don't worry about what they say when they answer, worry about how they look while they're answering. And so that's how, right. So that's why she never made the top 5 because she
that makes sense because she can't speak. Yeah.
No.
She literally can't talk. It's
Can
like,
you imagine if she had a crown having to sit on like anywhere? Like, oh my God.
They're like required to like do shit if they actually win. She would be terrible.
I've had the crown before, not for USA, but for Oklahoma Teen United States. You have to do public speaking.
Yeah.
That is literally a huge part of doing pageants. And baby girl, that is why they do it. I don't know what else to say, but
they're probably like, oh, here she is again. Just gonna enter the competition.
You get the same girls. You get the same girls mostly because only one can win, so that happens.
Right.
But like, damn girl. Anyway, although, can I tell you a tweet I saw that was so fucking hilarious? I'm probably gonna get some of the words wrong, but a girl, who was it? Kate Casey maybe, that tweeted, just tell Raquel that it's the Miss California USA Dreamers Forever pageant. Instead of that, it's the reunion, and she'll come.
Oh yeah. She should. She probably would show up.
She would. Evening gown ready. Okay. Where are we? There's so much.
The alleged that
So
Tom
she went
and
home also.
Oh yeah, so she went home, which
To Sonoma. I guess
yeah.
where she's from.
And I don't know. We'll get into her apology, I guess, in a bit, but I just
Some of it's out of order. I'm sorry. I was like,
no, you're okay.
Out.
I don't want to like go totally out of order because I will get lost. But just like what you have down here next is that they allegedly kissed on camera, which kind of I guess goes into almost her going home because we'll get into it when we read her apology statement. But again, she's playing victim. She's doing this, she's doing that. They kissed on camera. She was fine. Didn't give a shit. Like no big deal. And then, like, the day later, she's home, and all of a sudden, she's having, like, an epiphany. Like, I think that's so gross. I think it's gross they fucking did that.
Yeah.
Like, so gross.
And
like,
I guess Tom
God.
Sandoval was, like, refusing to film any further. After that.
Right. I do keep seeing that, too, which is bullshit. But it's, like, why? I don't know. Maybe they were, like... It doesn't even matter. So, like, maybe they were just caught kissing, but, like... you shouldn't even be close to each other right now.
No,
like,
he went to her apartment to film this scene from what I saw.
I'm going to be like, I'm like so disgusted, honestly. I'm going to cringe when I see that.
Imagine, this is what's weird to me. I can't even picture the two of them, like, really hugging, like, intimately.
No. That's the thing. It's like gross because of the situation, but I'm the same way. Like, I can't even picture them being intimate at all.
No.
So it's just going to be awful.
I mean, it's not like we're both sitting around here trying to picture everyone be intimate together, but it's like those two, I feel like not a lot would be happening during I don't know.
Schwartz and her seemed more natural than this. Like, this is just very strange. And again, I know it's because we're shocked by it, but...
Back when she was we thought she was just Bambi-eyed bitch, and he's the big dumb puppy. So that's probably why it made more sense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like two dummies together.
Kind of, yeah, you know? Dummies make cute kids sometimes. Trust me, I know.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Jax Taylor. Now, is he pulling a Patrick Sommers on us? I don't know. He posted to his Instagram story, "See you soon," at Watch What Happens Live, and he tagged Brittany.
Yeah, I mean, Andy said he got the most texts from Jax since this has happened.
Of course he fucking did. Of course he did. And
it's like, honestly, it's hard because when you see like the old scenes of Jax, like I've rewatched like a few episodes just like over the last few months, and like at the moment he was so awful, but looking back, those episodes are really funny. I always say it's kind of like a Brandy Glanville, like she was a monster, but then when you're watching her old episodes, she's funny. But we just really can't forget that all these people are monsters. Like,
right.
Tom's just joined the monster club, like
because he's been the morality police for 10 years.
Yeah, right. Like, I get their frustration. Like Kostasi said the same thing. Like, we've known he was like this. Like, maybe not this bad, but like this is why most of us don't like him. And it's like now the world knows this is what he's like. But like no one could have predicted he'd do this. So it's like
no. And it's interesting because Kristen said something on her podcast that basically I've been saying, which is, it's not that cheating is ever okay, but this would all be one thing if like it were a one-off, like, drunken night that a huge mistake was made by both of them and profusely apologize, never trust whoever again. Like, I get it. That is so understandable. That could be something you could move past. But no, it was just so deeply diabolical the way they went on about it. And I know, because now here's where we may not always agree on this, and I even texted you and our friend Vicky about this, that I was like, I'm feeling like Rachel's getting bullied to an extent that I'm worried about her mental health, and I feel like I'm contributing, and I she is still a 28-year-old who made a really dumb mistake, but even when I was talking to my mom about it, who's very like, I love everyone, good Christian woman, she was like, well, 28's old enough to know what you're doing. And I'm kind of like, yeah, at 28, no way in fucking hell would I have done this. But I also don't want to see something terrible happen to her. And I don't think you do either. I know you wouldn't feel horrible about it, but I would.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about it like you are, but that's because I said you're a better person than I.
I'm not. I am literally in therapy for trying to not self-blame for every single thing that happens in this world. So it's because it's not all fucking about me, right?
Yeah, you're just actually just really into yourself, and that's why you're making this about you.
That's what it is. It's about me that I feel bad for people. No, but like that, I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I know you don't actually want anything bad to happen.
Right? No, obviously, I would never want her to do anything. And the reason I don't feel that bad is just because I just think this is still fully a facade that she's putting on, because again, 2 days ago she didn't give two shits, they're in love, she was lying, and then we find out we talked about this, but I forgot that she I don't even know if I remember this actually, I just heard it recently. She dated someone that worked at SUR
right
before James, and then which it's funny, it came up in this episode this week with James's mom.
Yeah.
And then she went after James. And luckily, she got with James. And so she's admittedly a fangirl of the show. Like, so I just didn't, like, it kind of sounds familiar, but, like, I felt worse for her before, like, all these things came out. Like, you want to be on TV. That's clear. You want to be famous. Like, you're kind of just doing what you need to do. You're lying. You're not a real friend. Like, she had to have known this is how it was going to end. She didn't want to go home. Her parents made her go home. Like,
Yeah.
So I don't think she's in as bad of a spot as we think she is. I'm sure Tom's still texting her. I'm sure they're still, oh, I love you. Like, I'm sure she's fine.
Well, and what a dumb move. Like, of all the shows to be like, I'm going to be a fangirl and really try and get on it. If you're trying to get with a guy on one of these shows, why are you doing Vanderpump Rules? Go for $1 Million Listing, or go go for one of the guys that has a real job. But no, James Kennedy. She could have bagged like some, very well-to-do real estate broker. And again, it was James Kennedy. What can I say? Yeah. Oh, God. It keeps going. And okay, so we mentioned the Stassi podcast, and I have like pages of notes on it, but so basically we'll just put it this way. I thought was a very great point, which you kind of mentioned before, that we always thought she was such a like sweet girl. Well, Stassi was saying, look, Rachel has always seemed sweet and innocent, and it's pretty much because she just hid behind James Kennedy, which is pretty fucking easy to do because he was a goddamn nightmare. And I know you have like a soft spot for him, but like even you have to admit he was a
Oh no,
nightmare.
I know he's
Body shaming Katie and like body shaming the men on the show. I mean, it's like you can body shame more than just women, and it was like shitty.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, God damn it, fuck you, Rachel. Now I'm like, James Kennedy. I kind of listen to what he has to say now.
Right. And it's like when you lie about so many things as a viewer, like you rethink everything. Like, was she really defending James, or because if you think about it, like, not that like you shouldn't hold your partner accountable, but she also was at times pretty quick to be like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know. Like, she also turned her back on him a lot too. And so like it makes you wonder, like, was this truly like all just a big plan? I don't know. Like, because then there's those scenes with Lisa Vanderpump where she's crying over James, but like if that was post Coachella, she's already talking to Tom. Like, it's just, there's so many aspects of the story that like that's why I just, until I hear all of it, I just can't believe anything she says, because again, this has been happening for almost an entire year. It's like they were at Coachella together, where like people say, I think that's when it started personally. So,
well, that's the thing is, it kind of, especially on Stassi's podcast, it came up that like there was the rumor that it was Rachel and Tom Schwartz making out at Coachella, but Schwartz wasn't even at Coachella. And one of the things that came out recently too is that Rachel and Tom Sandoval are most upset that they can't go to Coachella this year.
oh, yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That is like so fucking sick. Again, reason number 100 why I don't trust her. Like him, he's dead to me. But like, that's what you guys are. I believe it. I believe they're worried about it. Because then you see clips of like back in the day where it's like, yeah, they prioritize these weird events and like concerts, and I don't know. It's just. Also, how old are you to still be this obsessed with Coachella?
Well, it
like,
turns out Tom Sandoval is actually most likely not 39. He's probably 42 years old and been lying about his age this whole time.
Oh my God. Like, also, what's the big deal? What's the difference between 39 and 42?
40.
Like, who? Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
a 42-year-old at Coachella
yeah.
is like...
Uh-huh. Well, oh, honey, I haven't been to Coachella and never needed to go. If I wanted to go drink in the desert, when I was living in Los Angeles, I don't know, I could just go walk outside and sit in the heat and drink, because I wasn't doing those type of drugs that would have been needed to get through Coachella.
Right. But again, that was like their main concern, like just not that long ago. Like, that's why like these apologies just like to me mean nothing, because these are like, it's kind of, we're probably going to stop getting stuff because it's clear they're telling people these things. and then like people that they think they can still trust, and everyone just hates them. Like even Raquel's or Rachel's friends. Like, so that's why I'm like they definitely told people about the Coachella thing and then got out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I believe everything that's coming out.
Yeah, for the most part, as long as Patrick Summers isn't posting it.
Yeah, that's true. Unless it's coming from him.
Yeah. I mean, and that's so really like the kind of other thing, basically to gather from Stassi's podcast, I would say, is one, that Andy Cohen loves Sandoval. So he's always been a favorite, and Sandoval was always pissed that Stassi would get like this quote unquote hero edit. And he felt like he was always kind of getting the shit end of the stick. And that's part of why, like, it's been a huge thing, again, that he just would, like, hammer in, like, well, you did this 5 years ago. Dude, you remember when you did this? It's so fucked up. And how he'd just be, like, on everyone's shit about every single thing they've ever fucking done. And he's been doing this shit the whole time.
Yeah. And, like, he would be crying all the time. Like,
yes.
I mean, he was, like, he was my favorite. Like, I've loved him and Ariana since the beginning. Like, they were definitely my favorites. Like, can Tom be annoying? Like, yeah. But, like, he was my favorite. Like,
I never liked him. If you want to know the truth, I never liked him.
A lot of people did it. I have a lot of friends that didn't like him, but they were just like, I think he's just annoying as shit. Like, I was like, that's fair.
But I've always liked Katie. And I liked Katie, Kristen, Stassi, like, even when they were being terrible, I've always liked them. I've not really liked Sheena very much. I've come around on her quite a bit, but it has all that I just have to admit, that's who I've liked. I've never really liked any of the men on the show. So
yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, I don't love the men in general. I just, like,
I'll take him.
Yeah, if I had to pick a favorite, it'd be him. Yeah. But I know it is rough if Andy has a favorite. I will admit that, because
he does on every show, though.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah.
Like, he doesn't, it's been known that he definitely doesn't like Jennifer Aiden, but he's definitely warmed up to her as well.
Right.
Okay, so I'm sure y'all have seen this, but just for context with everything, Tom Sandoval finally put out a second apology. The first one was where Ariana was not even once mentioned, okay? And so I'll I'll let you read the Tom Sandoval apology, and then I'll read the Rachel apology. And she put out an apology, and then she put out a note to her Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'll let you do the Tom one.
So here's Tom's. I want to first and foremost apologize to everyone I've hurt through the process. Most of all, I want to apologize to Ariana. I made mistakes, I was selfish, and made reckless decisions that hurt somebody I love. No one deserves to feel that pain so traumatically and publicly. I can only imagine how devastating this has been for Ariana and everyone around us. I feel really horrible about that. Like, so stupid. My biggest regret is that I dishonored Ariana. I never meant to disappoint so many people, including our loving friends and family. Like, okay. My love for Ariana was stronger than any camera could ever have captured. That's like the worst line in this whole fucking thing. Some of our best times together were never filmed. Well, I'd fucking hope so. Yeah. You were together for 10 years. Like, and of course he brings up the camera. The same goes for our biggest struggles. I wish things happened in a different order and our relationship was not severely tarnished, and that it ended with the same respect with her that it began with. I owed Ariana better. I mean, that's like stupid because it started with cheating and then like different order. You made it this order, you fucking idiot. And then ends with, I am beyond sad that it has ended the way it did. The choices I made hurt so many people. I acted in a way that clashes with who and how I want to be. I will continue to reflect and work on myself. I have work to do. I always have, and I always will. Terrible.
And
it just sucks because like he just dropped that after everyone was like, oh, your first apology is just about your fucking bartenders and not your,
basically
again,
wife.
I'm just gonna call her wife, like not the
you may
wife
as
that you've
well.
had for a decade. Because like I also think it makes it seem less serious when you're just like, oh, his girlfriend of 10 years. No, like I mean they're basically, you don't need to be legally married to hold the standard.
No,
like
you don't.
And like it's just. He finally I heard someone say like, of course he said the name like Ariana like 100 times. Like that was probably strategic.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I think Rachel put out her apology around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to apologize for my actions and my choices, foremost to Ariana and to my friends and the fans so invested in our relationships. There is no excuse. I am not a victim, and I must own my actions, and I deeply regret hurting Ariana. I am reflecting on my choices, speaking to a counselor, and I am learning things about myself, such as patterns of codependency and addiction to being and feeling loved. I have sought emotional validation through intimate connections that are not healthy without regard for my own well-being, sometimes negatively affecting others and often prioritizing the intimate connection over my friendships. I am taking steps to understand my behavior and make healthier choices. Although I choose to be on the reality show, accepting the good and the bad that comes with it beyond my own actions, I have been physically assaulted, lost friendships, received death threats.
That's probably how she'd read it.
Sorry, I sort of said received.
I should have read mine in Tom Sandoval voice.
Yeah,
That would have
I
been great.
I could not. Sorry. Received death threats. I shouldn't be laughing at this. I apologize.
Yeah, that's the one you're hysterically laughing at.
This is probably true and it's terrible. I apologize. Received death threats and hate emails in addition, not multiplication tables, but in addition to having had my privacy violated. Okay. I have begun counseling. This is repetitive, to end my unhealthy behavioral cycle, learn to set stronger emotional boundaries, and learn to protect my mental health. I don't expect sympathy, understanding, or forgiveness. Right now, I must focus on my own health and well-being as I strive to be a better person moving forward. I will prioritize my mental health and learn from my mistakes. If y'all haven't turned it off already, there you go.
That was great. That was a commitment. I could have never read Tom's and Tom voice the whole thing.
It's kind of
her. There's no way she wrote that.
Absolutely not.
And so this is where I have the issue.
Exactly, and I love your note on this, please.
Yeah, like she posted this, like, so again, we talked about this earlier in the episode already, but like it's been like reliable sources have come out that like her parents or her family were like begging her to come home. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on, she didn't want to. Like, she just went home like a day before this came out.
Right.
And already she's saying she's getting counseling. She's already learned about herself that she has these behavioral like poor behavioral patterns. Like she just is she's addicted to, she now knows that she's just addicted to being loved. And if anyone that's all a crock of shit. You didn't just figure that out in the last 24 hours.
She is so loved by so many people that it has become an addiction to her.
Like, it's such a like, that's what kills me. Like, if she would have dropped this in a month, maybe. But like, she acts like she acts like she just got like 3 months worth of therapy, and this is what she's learned about herself.
And I will tell you, it is hard to find a therapist within even 3 months.
Right.
Unless I bet there were therapists like, honey, you need some help, let me help you. She probably had people reach out to her for free. They don't need a copay.
And talking about like the quote unquote assault, losing friendships, no one gives a shit, bitch. You should have thought about that a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, and I will echo kind of like what you're, so, I try and sometimes stop and think about if it were me, let's say, yeah, I might, while, again, I know I'm going to have to say I don't condone violence, but I also, you're from Philly, I'm from Oklahoma. I mean, I have seen people get punched in the face for much less. Oh, man, would I, listen, I think I would be okay with, like, you would be, if you were Sheena in this situation, I know I could trust you would take care of business for me. If it were me in the situation for you, I think that I would get real, I would think about it real hard, and I would just probably eviscerate her verbally, and that's about as far as I could go.
Which I agree that's the better option. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think you should be running around punching people in the face. Like,
no, but sometimes people do need a little bop. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's like even like
kicked, but...
you don't even have to have like anger issues to just be filled with. That's why it's called a crime of passion. Like, wives get away with killing their husbands because it's a crime of passion. Like, you get just overtaken by this, like, you can't control it. Like, and like I said, her injury didn't even seem like that like big of a deal. But like,
I fear I would be too uncoordinated, I think, in the moment, and then especially that's why I'm like, you also could match. Why am I putting you up against Rachel? I don't know why, but this is what's happening. You're not much shorter than her. You might be an inch shorter than her. Yeah. Me, I'm like maybe 3 inches shorter than her, and even for me, I would be a little nervous. I don't know. She's bony. I feel like she'd elbow you or something. Like, I'd just be like, yeah. Anyway, why am I analyzing it in that way? I do understand needing to give someone a good, as Lisa Vanderpump would say, a good bop on the nose.
Yeah. I think she could have just left that paragraph out of her fucking apology. No shit. Because I'm actually surprised, because she had Crisis PR, fired the new Crisis, they think the new Crisis PR might have dropped her. Yeah. So I don't know who wrote this for her, but if I was in PR, which I'm not, so I'm not professional, but I wouldn't have put that in there. No. Because no one gives a shit. Like, no one cares.
Because here's the thing, that's such a great point. Because if you look here, she says, I'm not a victim. But then she goes, I know this is an overanalyzation, but she literally goes down to then victimize herself. Paragraph, here I am. Oh my God. I should have been a lawyer, but no, thank you. Where is it? Where it's like in paragraph 2, I believe, or no, paragraph 1, where she says, there is no excuse. I am not a victim. Yeah. And then here we go down to paragraph 3. Although I chose to be on a reality show, accepting the good and bad that comes with it, beyond my own actions, I have been physically assaulted, lost friendships, received death threats, and hate emails, in addition to having my privacy violated. You victimized yourself in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways. Now, having your privacy violated, 100%, I don't think you and I would be, I think you and I are on the same page. If she did not know he was screen recording that, that's fucked up and not okay. You don't fucking do that. Period.
No, yeah.
Without question. That is the only thing in there that I can say, yeah,
I think it tells you at least it tells you screenshot it when you're FaceTiming somebody. I wonder if it tells you if you're screen. Oh. Because I only know my niece does it all the time. It's screenshot.
Oh, how funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if it does it with a screen recording too. Like, because on Snapchat, now they made it. Yeah. And like, if I have no idea. I'm just saying, like, I know if they do the screenshot, so I'm wondering because if that's the case, then she definitely knew. Yeah.
I think I want to, on our break, can we FaceTime and see really quick?
Yeah, we should. Because,
when we take a break, I want to do that and just see.
Yeah. And, like, again, lost friendships. You have no friends. You lied to everybody in your life, so I don't know what you expect from that. So, yeah, just another bullshit lie of an apology. And then did the Notes app come out how much later?
It came out, it says March 8th at 10:19 p.m. is when it claims she wrote it. She probably did a copy and paste from what someone told her to send, because everyone said she absolutely did not write that apology above. And it
sucked.
Right. So she posts to her Instagram stories. I'll read it in normal voice to not annoy anyone. I should have just read this one in the Rachel voice instead of the first
the short one.
Yeah. Besides, it's really hard not to now that it's in my head, but besides the... Okay, I'm just going to do it because I'm sorry. I can't help it. Besides the...
It's the actor in you.
Yeah, it is. I can't even... It's so fucking annoying. I'm such an obnoxious person. But, besides the indefensible circumstances surrounding our relationship, my feelings for Tom have always been sincere and born out of a loving friendship. Knowing how many people we hurt, I need to understand my choices and learn to make better ones. I need to take care of my health, work on self-growth, and take time to be okay with being alone. I care for Tom, and I don't want to label anything or predict what lies ahead.
My God.
Right now, I need to heal. Again, you're not a victim, but what do you need to heal from them?
What is that? Like, what is that? Like, oh, I actually do love Tom, and I don't want to call us boyfriend and girlfriend, but in a few months I might. Like, what the fuck is that statement? You idiot. That's like worse than the first one.
Yeah, easily.
Like, she's literally admitting that she loves Tom, and she doesn't want to label what they are now, and she doesn't want to predict what will happen with them, but she just needs to heal, and then she'll let us
From
know.
what, you non-victim?
Right. From what, 24 hours or 48 hours of the internet and the world hating you?
Yeah, that is pretty.
You
intense.
deserved it. But it's just,
you gotta admit that's fucking intense as shit.
No, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, it just, like, she put herself in a situation. Like, heal from what?
Yeah,
like the ramifications of your actions.
Exactly.
Like,
I need to heal myself from the dumb shit I do. I don't. It just. Oh my god. Well,
not good.
And then Dumois was posting a blind that someone said their friend hooked up with Tom while they were in Chicago. I actually messaged my friend who was there at the.
Oh, in Chicago?
Yes, at his show, and she was saying like she was really confused. I guess because it was in December, and I kind of joked. I was like, "This was you, wasn't it?" And she was like, "Yeah, totally, whatever." Anyway, and she was like saying Rachel was not there, but she said she thought that Ariana and Tom broke up because it was New Year's Eve and they weren't together. And Schwartz was there, but he wasn't at the show, I guess. So, I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and that's where I keep getting confused, too, because even, like, the Christmas thing, like, they said Raquel went home, which I totally forgot about right now.
Yeah.
Went to St. Louis with Tom for Christmas, and that's what I'm like, what's, like, I need to know the story. Like, what's Ariana thinking? Like, maybe she just wants to see her family. Like, I don't know. Like, how is this kept such a secret?
Isn't Ariana's family from California?
They might be. I'm not sure. But yeah,
I'm not positive, but I feel like weren't they at like her childhood house for like her birthday when he was like saying, I gotta go to Jax's thing where
there's gonna be bulldozers. We're gonna be like on bulldozers and like breaking rocks and shit.
Like, no, dude.
After she's crying because her dad died.
Like, around her birthday or something, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, and it was, like, legit. What did you think?
So, yeah, I'm, like, confused. Sorry, I'm just, like, I am confused. And this is nothing against Ariana. I'm more just, like, curious what his excuses always were. Because it does seem like he's not with her for, like, big events or holidays. And it is pissing me off that the whole band seemed to know, and just there's 100 of them, and no one could, and no one could be like, this doesn't seem right. Like, I don't know. It's just that's the other thing that kills me. Like, I know Dumois had some shit from a few years ago or whatever, but like, it does always like scare me a bit how like people just don't say anything. No one submits any blind items. No one tells like the person that no one just actually outright tells the person that should know. Like, that's what's the fuckery of it all. Like, how many people can know?
Yeah. I mean, even when I was working at YSL, there would be a guy that would come in and I remember I was helping him and this girl that I thought maybe was like his sister. And he was like, they were saying like his wife would like this or that. And then I'm at like checking them out because he was buying her something and something for his wife. And he said, if my wife returns these, I need you to not say who I was here with. And I was like,
oh my God.
Of course.
You're like, oh, perfect.
So it's so prevalent.
Honestly, I would love that, if I'm being honest.
You would
if
like
I were you, I'd be like, ooh.
I know, and if the wife came in, you'd be like, oh my God, that was so nice that he brought his sister in to shop for you.
For sure.
What did you think of Lisa Vanderpump being on Watch What Happens Live? I want to know.
It definitely was just like, I feel like it was just more like just her bland opinion on things. And it was like, I feel like what we're all thinking, like nothing was like, I didn't disagree with anything she said. It just, there was just nothing there. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like a snooze. Like, I think Andy had her on hoping that she had some juice, hoping she had some like, she just taped with Ariana, I think, like anything. Yeah. And it was just like very like, she was basically Switzerland. Like, well, we have to wait till the reunion. Like, she's definitely on Ariana's side, but she
Yeah.
really wouldn't give any strong opinions or any like tea at all. And you could tell Andy was just like, all right, next question.
Well, yeah, because it was also like she said, let these young people make mistakes and, let them learn from them. He's 42 goddamn years old.
Yeah.
I said it. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it.
42.
Well,
What
because
the
isn't Jackson
hell?
well, Jack's always also apparently lied about his age, but they're all like in their 40s. Like all I feel like the
All the
three
guys.
guy friends have to be in their 40s.
And
so.
how hilarious is it that out of anyone lying about their age, it was the men?
I know, like no one cares. Like,
In LA.
but
they
yeah, I
do.
thought it was a bust. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, and
I
then
was
the
bummed.
Tom Tom buyout question. Like, that
Yes.
was, like, a big one. And she's just like, well, you'll see the dynamics changed at the reunion. It's like, well, the reunion hasn't filmed
It
yet.
hasn't
It's like,
yet.
what are you talking about?
Exactly. Like, what the hell? I don't know. I just was I was bummed. I was really excited to see, like, LVP back in a little bit more of that, like, element. And then it was like,
The only thing I give her any potential, like, credit for is, like, she hasn't been on in, like, over a year. And then also, like, she just, I think, really did film some scenes with, like, Ariana and everybody. So, I don't know, maybe it's just too, like,
too soon.
fresh. Like, she doesn't want to air out the shit quite yet. But, I mean, she seemed, like, fine. Maybe she just felt weird answering in too much detail. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you didn't have, like some of these Watch Happens Lives, like are actually like getting kind of juicy. Like you should watch
Yeah.
them. And I think everyone was like, oh, LVP's on. Like for sure we have to watch it. And you didn't need to
It
watch
didn't deliver.
it. No, there was like nothing, like absolutely nothing on there.
No.
Yeah.
Now, so Kristen Doty was actually photographed filming outside of Ariana's house. So
Everyone's so happy.
all right.
We're
The
back.
episode. We are back. I feel like we had so much to say about everything else going on that I don't know. This is going to be a little quicker for us.
Yeah, it's not like the episode was like super juicy. It's just like I feel like I can't even like look at her anymore. Like I am
No.
so creeped out by her in such a weird way. Like the bathing suit shopping, like I don't know, every time she's like laughing or smiling with like Ariana or like I had such a weird feeling watching it. Like I couldn't shake the feeling.
What a fake bitch.
Right. That's all like just knowing, because that was my thing when this came out last week, which this is when I just thought it was like basically the Daily Mail party was the kickoff. I know it's been happening longer now, but like in my head, I'm like, okay, like moving forward, like maybe except like a few edited scenes here and there, but moving forward, like the affair is happening. Like it's actively happening, and just knowing that is bizarre, like unreal.
I don't think the closest thing I feel like we've had to this was the Lisa and Lenny stuff, but we remember how angry we've been about that. And
Yeah. Well, that's why this is like all, because like the friendship of it all is what's making it like, this isn't Miami Girl. This is like one of your close friends. It's like interacting with you daily.
sleeping at your home.
Yeah. Ugh, which that story is awful. Just.
You know what? I feel like not a lot. One thing that I did find really funny, I just want to say, is that one of Rachel's reasons for not being good friends with Katie was because she didn't come to my puppy party. Bitch, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You're fucking one of your best friend's husbands, and you don't like this girl because she didn't come to your fucking puppy party?
Yeah. She didn't come to Graham's birthday party where the fuck it was. Like, come on. And also, she's like, I just feel like Katie has a really good poker face. Like, I was like, no, she doesn't. You can tell exactly how she's feeling by the look on her face.
Absolutely.
She's just miserable most of the time. Like,
100%. Yeah, I mean, because Tom was making her miserable.
right. Like, I'm just like, I don't think Katie has, I think she's pretty honest with how she feels. Like,
She's very transparent.
yeah.
Do you want to just, like, I don't know. I feel like we had thoughts on things, but maybe okay. The thing that I did find funny maybe was like when James and Allie went to lunch with his mom. I can't even remember his mom's name.
I always forget her name too. And like, she seems equally as unhinged as a sober person than she does as a drinking person. Like, she literally seems exactly the same. She's so scary to me. But I thought it was weird. He like got her like, okay, I know I'm a James apologist, but like he's like, okay, I'm not drinking alcohol in front of my mom. He got her a bouquet of flowers, and she just looks at it. She's like, oh, thanks. And he's like, it was so awkward. He was like standing there with flowers. I think he thought his mom would take the flowers he bought her, and she didn't. Oh, it's just like little things like that. I'm like, this woman is weird. Like,
well, she was bragging, yelling at him about how you took your first steps at Tiffany's. Remember that?
Yes. I forgot about that. She's very bizarre. And
she is.
It was interesting. And again, I would put money on this thing being edited out, but maybe, I don't know, because it's so insignificant outside of the situation where she's like, well, I'm just glad you two met organically and Raquel had a friend or family member run to your DJ set.
Drag her.
And I was like,
drag her.
Yep. I was like, well, that tracks. Like,
because then Allie in confessional, they were like, so how did you meet James? My friend Zach dragged me to Agora Hills and to James's DJ show, and the rest is history. Listen, there's something that's, I need Allie to put on some eyelashes. I need her to put on some eyelashes so badly. She's gorgeous.
She's so cute. She looks like,
bugging me.
She looks like she's like 18. She looks so young. And she's like, I was on her Instagram, she's like 27.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's young, but like, she looks very young. I think she's really pretty.
She does like readings too. Like,
yeah, that's what I figured because I saw it on in her profile. But yeah, so she's friends with Zachary Reality, who's huge on TikTok and Instagram. You've definitely seen him. I'll send him to you after that. So he's like all over the place. So it's kind of interesting because like after last season, I kept seeing him with James and his TikToks, and I could tell James was drinking and he was drinking. And I was like, this seems weird. Why is James drinking? So I guess like he was asked to go to a Tom Sandoval concert, like whatever, however many months ago, year ago, whatever, because he is a content creator and they asked him to go and then like document being there. So he said he like put it on his TikTok. He's like, so I quite literally did drag Allie with me because she was hungover from her birthday. And I had to go and I didn't want to go alone. And then we were like backstage and James opened for Tom. And then that's how they met. And they just like hit it off. So he's like, I know it's a show, but they really made it seem like I drug her there just so she could meet James, but I had to go. But he's like, you definitely know who he is. I'm going to send him to you after this. But it's interesting that they're friends. Like he was in a scene like last week, like just in the back with her.
How did I miss that?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just send it to you.
So
yeah.
funny.
So I don't know where I was even going with that, but because of the story with the mom. Yeah.
How she was like so annoyed about, it's like so many of these women have been on to Rachel, because Christina Kelly, I love what Christina Kelly said, and here's something that like I saw Stars by Alyssa post that I think you will appreciate, which it showed that Christina Kelly is a Virgo and so is Rachel, and she said a Virgo who has done their healing and a Virgo who has not done their healing. And the one who has is Christina Kelly, who says in her confessional, which it's crazy to see her on as like a
it was weird
member, but I like it, and it doesn't seem like she drinks either. People walk around treating her like a little baby, but that's like an insult to babies. Yeah. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that was funny. It is. And that's when like through the TV it's hard, but then there are some people that just like can really read people, like, and I guess she's one of them. And then I mean Lala too, but because a lot of people did like, if you didn't, again, with no context what's going on, that would just be like, oh, why do you think that? That's rude. But
yeah, it would be like, I know Rachel's being annoying, but like, I don't know, give her a little bit of a break. Like, if none of this had happened, now I'm sure they've been like, can you imagine those poor editors frantically re-editing everything?
Oh, they probably
like,
haven't slept. I hope they're getting like bonuses, like, because they have to do a lot.
Sorry, my nose is, excuse me. When I lived in Valley Village, literally in the same building Katie does, there is a row. How do I put this without like giving away the location? It probably won't. I'm gonna say it's kind of like an old. I don't know. I didn't want to call it an office building. It's kind of weird that whenever I'd be walking, because there's, okay. There's stores nearby, and if I would walk over to a store nearby, typically it'd be in the evening or even at night, very nearby, and you could see that someone in that very small building, because it was only 2 stories, and like they were almost like apartments, the best way to put it. You could see them editing Orange County.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
and
that's
I'd be
crazy.
like craning my neck, walking as slowly as I could. And they would be editing up until like 9 p.m. I mean,
I believe it because they always have to like meet these like. I always think it's weird why they like do the reunion so early and stuff, and like I just don't know how long it takes to edit anything, so that's why too. But I'm like, they're definitely for sure like scrambling, and like I said, like maybe it was already in there because I mean it was just this week's episode, but like even just that conversation, like this comment, and then the conversation between like James and his mom, like all those conversations just seem so insignificant. Like,
and now they mean everything.
Yeah, that like.
I would feel like a reunion would be so much easier to edit, just coming from like even when I was in acting school, like we had to learn how to edit because that helped you become a better actor, like for continuity, and the continuity you would need for storytelling through editing. Excuse me, I'm sure you can hear that.
Oh no, I can't hear anything.
I'm gonna mark that very quickly. Sorry. Goddamn fucking flight back. So coming from the standpoint of like having been an actor and like, you know, the continuity thing, editing actually like all the scenes would be a million times harder than the reunion where everyone's wearing the same thing. It's all the same day. You don't have to worry about their hair being placed in the exact same spot because you're doing an over the shoulder versus a wide shot and versus the, you know, the 2 shot, like all of that. So I don't know why they do.
I've like tweeted Andy like every time there's a reunion because he's always like ask questions and I'm like, what? We're like 4 or 5 episodes in, like, and you save all the good shit till the end of the season. I mean, this is like a little off topic. I just don't get it. Like, I hate that they do that. We are so fucking lucky that this came out before the reunion was filmed because we would have been furious, and then there would have been no contractual obligation to like talk again. Like, it's just so frustrating. Like, I don't know why they do it.
You sent a text message in our group chat that I think was a very good idea, that if any Bravo celebrity that is a main cast member, I would say, right? If they try to skip out on the reunion, why is it not in their contract that they could be sued for at least $1 million?
Yeah, like a ridiculous amount. Like, it has to be a ridiculous amount that's worth losing. And then, like, not only that, like, you will never have a job at like Bravo or like NBC Universal. Like, like, I know that sounds extreme, but like
they wouldn't do that.
They have to like, there has to be some type of like, I don't know, thing. Like, it's too easy to skip a reunion. Like, it's just too easy for, like, they're already like, especially OG Vanderpump or like OG Housewives, like, they're making money. They can afford to miss a reunion. So like, you need to make it difficult to miss a reunion. Like, if Tom or Raquel or whoever doesn't show up for this reunion, like, it's going to be bad. Like, people are just going to be so pissed off.
I agree. You know, so, okay. Backtracking just a little bit. You know, I do just want to like barely touch on like, okay. When Lala goes over to Raquel's apartment and the amount of foreshadowing that was happening here.
It's like scary.
Yeah, and she's like, I just hope there's enough men to go around because I feel like it's slim pickings. And Lala says, well, we don't have the same taste in men. And then the flashbacks.
Oh,
my God.
yeah. Like, you do have the exact same taste in that.
Except for Sandoval.
Yeah.
And Rand.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But then I'm also like, slim pickings, like, she acts like there's no one in Vegas. Like, I'm sure there's like 100 men that want to like make out with Raquel in Vegas at any moment.
Or in Los Angeles. They're like, now, am I speaking to the quality of men? No.
Right. Well,
But
that's the thing. I don't think they are
people
either. Yeah.
There are more people in Los Angeles County than like 9/10 of the population in most states.
Yeah.
Okay, that is, y'all, there are so many people in Los Angeles. I can't even post-pandemic. You can look up these facts. There are plenty of people. Now, the difference is, like, to you and I, if I were to say, oh, I want to date someone, he lives in Colorado Springs, that's more doable than living in West Hollywood and dating someone in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put that. I guess it'd be like if you wanted to date someone in Kansas and you live in Oklahoma, that's more doable than dating someone in Santa Monica. I don't know how else to explain it. So yes, there are more people. You have a wider net, Rachel.
Well, it's like, it's just a weird thing to say. Like, wow, I hope when we go to Vegas, we want to fuck around. There's enough men to go. Like you said, they're not talking about finding a husband in Vegas. Like, you're just talking about like having fun and making out. You could throw a dart and go make out with somebody. And it was just a weird thing to say.
Any given time.
Yeah, which is like.
Any given time in Vegas.
Goes into like what happens later with the whole Oliver thing. Like, of course you're going after like the same, like, it's so stupid. There's 100 people.
It is.
Like, Vegas, and like I said, it's just like Vegas is just such like, the men are there looking for women. Like, you just could have had anybody you wanted to if you just wanted to have a drunken makeout session on a dance floor.
That's what you wanted.
Right.
Did it have to be Oliver?
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing too, is like, I have a huge problem with girls who are like this, who are like, have this incessant need, and it's feeding into the narrative that she's like addicted to love. Oliver was not telling her he loved her.
No.
Anything like that. Like, this was so stupid. Like, women who incessantly need to have a man in order to have fun, like have a man interested in them. I have had friends like this, and they are not fun to go out with because they are constantly on the prowl. You lose them, and then you're looking for them everywhere. Like, if your friend, like, great, like if she meets someone while you're out, you're championing that, right? If she's single, absolutely. But then, like, I don't know, it's like she is unable to even remotely, I don't know, just go have fun with some girlfriends. The point of a girls trip, if you live in the same city, you like these people while you're living in your city, you want to go with them to a new environment. That's it. That's not the point of a girls trip, is not to go make out with guys. It's just stupid.
When she literally says like, oh, I thought the point of this trip was to find guys and have fun. It's like, no,
that's a bonus.
I don't think it was. Yeah, that's the bonus of it. And I agree. Like, girlfriends like that are so, so annoying. Because it's like, if it happens naturally, or like you're then like, or like end of the night when you're at a club and everyone's mingling, then sure.
You're
but like,
rooting for it.
They're at dinner, and like, I'm also the type of person, like, as soon as Lala would have said, oh, I've had a crush on him, even if she was kind of playing around, I would have been like, oh, okay, I'm not even going to entertain that. Like, no thanks. Like,
No.
Even though I think he's hot and I'd love to make out with him, she's met him before. She thinks he's cute. I'm just going to not even try. Like, and she tried. She got it. Like,
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, though, is like, unless I were like, no, I think this person is actually my soulmate and I'm not someone like her, I would be like, I would have a real conversation, and I'd be like, okay, I have to tell you, I feel like this person might be my soulmate. How into him are you? And if you really are that into him, then I'm probably just being crazy and whatever. But I mean, it's not like he wasn't reciprocating the vibes to Lala. And you did note this, and I think it was point well taken. Yes, Oliver did say that he was separated.
Yes.
Now, something else that just very briefly, and LVP pointed it out, Rachel tried to put the entirety of the Schwartz thing on Sheena at that dinner.
Yeah, she did. I mean, she's been doing that even like when they went out to dinner with, like, she just keeps telling Katie, she's like, yeah, well, or even like the diary sessions, like interviews. She's like, yeah, I mean, I didn't really think of it until Sheena said something. And it's like, all right, we were all like telling Sheena to back the fuck off a little bit, but like, you have a brain, allegedly.
No, she does not.
like it's such an easy out for her, especially when Sheena's not there. Like, oh, well,
And
Sheena told me. Like,
yeah. It makes me wonder the way she would talk about James when he wasn't around, if that's her best friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's so, like, we're all seeing her for who she is. And that's
I know. She just keeps, like, I mean, honestly, if anything, she's smarter than what we thought, because she's really tricked everybody. Yeah. Like, by making us think, oh, I mean, even if this didn't come out, I would think the whole, like, her blaming Sheena, like, I would kind of call bullshit on that. Like, you clearly like Schwartz. Like, stop blaming Sheena. Like,
agreed.
But, like, it's just worse now, for sure. And yeah, I'm glad it was also on camera that, yeah, like, that Oliver said he was single, because before that, we're separated. Before that scene, like, even leading up to the season, it was like, oh, Raquel hooked up with Oliver and he's married. And then it just came out, like, yesterday or whatever, Raquel was like, Lala made me think he was single. It's like, no, bitch, you asked, like, he said he was. Like, Lala didn't say anything. Like,
why are you pinning it on Lala? That's what I didn't get.
And they were at a dinner.
What the fuck are you doing?
And we were at the dinner, and Vanderpump said he was separated. She was pretty sure. So, like, he definitely was fucking around. Like, that's on him. But, like, she didn't have to blame Lala, because it came out that he was the one that was lying. Like, he wasn't separated. Like, he was just maybe telling people. I don't know. That's another story, but
these fucking men.
I know. I did think it was a little, like, inappropriate when she was like, my mom would hate that face tattoo. I'm like, dude, that is, like...
So, there is something...
It's, like, racial, like, undertones.
Yes.
Like, shut the fuck... Like, I thought... And, like, I'm kind of annoyed that he wasn't like, all right, bitch, fuck you. Like, that's, like... such an uneducated thing to say, like,
because he's nicer than that. I agree. Like, clearly,
it made me
Raquel,
cringe.
To me, Raquel's like, oh, she clearly has never ever even kissed a black man,
right?
And that, I'm sorry, but that's just what the way I took it. I don't know how to take it any other way. And so there was with that. Yeah, and no one asked you, Raquel.
Right.
Rachel,
oh, you're bringing him home to your mom? You met him 5 minutes ago. That's like...
What a psychopath.
I'm so disappointed in him for just, like, still going along with it. Because I'm like, that was a psycho thing to say. Like,
yeah. You know what? But he's probably, sadly, so used to microaggressions like that. And that's what that was, if you ask me. I felt that was a little bit more than a microaggression, personally. But, so... I did just want to touch on this and tell me if you noticed this as well and if you know about it, because then my brain was like, I couldn't totally remember. So did you notice that whenever Lala and Oliver were talking and she was like, oh, this is my daughter. He was like, oh, you have a daughter? And she was like, yeah. And he said, what's her name? And you don't hear her say her name. And then she starts talking about the legal custody battle. Well, I had way a while ago, listened to the Him and Her podcast, which is Lauren and Michael Bostic, and they had Lala on, and she was saying, like, basically she can't even mention Randall's name. Like, they had to bleep his name out of the entire podcast if she
weird.
accidentally said it. Yeah, and she wasn't allowed to, like, speak on Ocean, and I don't remember. I've heard her say Ocean so many times that, like, now I'm like, was it on the show, or was it, like, online that I heard her say Ocean? And you never hear her say her daughter's name, which is weird, right? So I think she was bringing up the legal custody battle because she can't say her daughter's name. She doesn't even remotely say it in that edit. Now, again, it's the edit. I don't know how they did that, but, you know, I don't think Lala was... Now, I've been that person. You and I have been at plenty of parties where I've been like, oh my God, I'm talking about my divorce again. I'm so sorry. And, like, I get it. Like, that I so feel her pain.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I think the reason why she was going on about it and then, you know, not saying everything, like her daughter's name, was because of the legal battle. And that's why she brought it up. And so if that is the case, and Rachel knew that, it was even shittier of her to be like, oh my God, we're having so much fun talking about a legal battle. Like,
yeah,
bitch,
that was like,
fuck off.
yeah, like she, for one thing, I didn't notice that. But now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, like she usually just says like my daughter, I have a kid, my baby. Like you're right. Like I haven't really heard her say the word ocean in a long time. But it is funny because I just thought Raquel, as like the scenes were going, seemed like the most annoying fucking drunk. Like I don't know, like her faces, like the way she was talking, and then yeah, like we get it. Like could be a downer conversation, but like. You're like, I don't know. You're also not close with Lala. That close with Lala. She's talking to somebody else that has a kid and can like
move your fucking body out
right.
from between
Just
them.
she was talking. It looked like she was talking to somebody else too. Like
across her. Like
yeah.
why are you still sitting there?
Yeah,
move.
I know it was like really annoying because like. It was interesting how like what they chose to pick up because Raquel was like really having a conversation with somebody across and then they had to talk behind her and then it picked up the conversation that Oliver and Lala were having about custody and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, like shut up. Like she already looked so annoying with their drunk ass.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like if I were Rachel, I would have and I knew like, oh, you know, so my friend is into this guy, I'm gonna be like, let me move.
Yeah, I mean that's like that's exactly how I would be. Like even if I liked him, it's like not worth it, or not liked him, but like because she doesn't even know him. But like
you had a crush
even
on
if I was like
him.
attracted to him, like it's just not worth it. And like you don't have a good relationship with Lala. Like you're trying to get back with Lala. Like
you want to have longevity on the show, which clearly she didn't give a fuck about. But
and it's also kind of interesting thinking again about the Sandoval affair, like. She clearly, I mean, I know it was long, so maybe now she has feelings for him, but like, okay, you're still making out with people. Like,
well, someone said, I can't even remember where, that allegedly she was literally making out with Oliver to try and make Sandoval jealous.
Ugh.
Ma'am, he's in a relationship.
Yeah. She's a psycho. That's what I'm saying. Like, just do not feel bad for her at all.
I've also said this before, like, I would not do what she did to a stranger, let alone acquaintance, let alone a friend. Like, I cannot on any level, like, to me, I don't know. Once my friend has been with someone in any capacity, I'm not interested.
Right. It's weird.
Even if you want to like be silly and playful and flirty, like as long as your friend who's in the relationship is okay with it, kind of like, well, now we know the Oliver that Maya Allen was with on Summer House was a cheater, but how she was okay with like
so
the girls in the house. I know this is like kind of out there, but I felt like, you know, that's one thing. Like the girls would be silly, flirty, like that type of thing is fine.
Oh yeah.
If everyone's okay with it, that's one thing. But like to me, I'm like, once one of my friends, I don't know, I would have to be like, this person is my soulmate. I will die if I'm not with them, in order to even remotely consider it. And so that's where I don't get it.
Yeah, what I thought was interesting, she hounded Lala. She's like, are you sure I can make out with him? You're sure? Like, she was basically asking permission to make out with Oliver, but as having a full-blown affair with someone, like, you don't think to ask permission for Ariana? Like, hey, can I make out with your husband of 10 years? Like, this is what she's asking permission for? Like, it made no sense. No sense. And I don't know if it's because she's scared of Lala. I don't know if, again, this is all a ploy. Like, well, I'm going to cover my ass and look like a nice girl by asking so she can't get mad at me. Like I was like, this is really rich. I
think that's a great point, because I agree that I think it's because she's less afraid of Ariana than Lala, because Ariana is kind and she knows Lala would literally fucking beat the shit out of her. I don't know what Lala I don't want to know what Lala would do. And that's number one. Number two, it's kind of a ploy that a lot of liars take, which is that they will admit to a smaller offense to cover up for the larger offense. So, like, a man who's a cheater will be like, okay, yeah, I was DMing with that girl. I shouldn't have been doing it. It's not like I was that I just wanted to see what would happen. When really, that was him admitting to the small thing, when really maybe he met up with her. And they hooked up. that's the way, like, those people who are good liars tend to do that. They admit to that small offense. And I think that's a very good point. Like, why are you asking?
Yeah, it just, like...
You don't care.
Yeah, like, clearly she doesn't care.
She's pretending.
And, like, the way she's just blaming everybody for everything, like, it's just... It's really weird. And again, it does make you think about, like, her relationship with James. Like, obviously James wasn't perfect. He did, I think, you know, he had a problem with drinking.
And I think he was emotionally abusive.
Yeah, and, like, I'm sure it was, like, all the above. But then, like, now, like, people are going to question, like, almost, like, every story you've ever said about him. Like, well, was... And I do believe, in general, he was like that. I'm not saying she's lying. But, like...
No.
Now, like, seeing her play this, like, little victim baby, like... It just, like, before this all came out, watching that conversation with Lala, I would have been like, okay, well, that's, like, respectful. Like, she knows she had a crush on her. She's asking it.
Right.
Like, but again, with context, it's like, well, now I really don't trust anything that she's ever said. Like, nothing. Like, the lies just keep going.
Dirty little liar. Dirty little liar.
But James told us to look out for the final scene, and I think he was talking about the trailer for next week, which, again... I feel like was probably cut out, and then they added this shit back in. They had to have. So it's when Lala, it's the morning after hanging out, Lala, Katie, and Christina Kelly are in bed. Lala turns to Raquel, and she's like, I will say this, you drinking, I would never trust you around my man. And then Rachel says, well, thank God, she cursed somewhere in there, I think, but she said, well, thank God you don't have a man to fucking have around. And all the girls were like, what? They all, like, kind of screamed at her. They're like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
for one thing,
Christina was like,
rude as shit.
Raquel.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
For one thing, rude as shit. Like, basically just because, like, shaming Lala for not having a boyfriend or a husband. And then, like, just admitting that, yeah, I'd fuck around with your dude if he was around. Like, what the fuck?
You don't even have a dude to fuck around on. Like, oh my God. That was so, like... I feel like I sound like a crazy person and, like, overly invested, but no, like, I have chills from that. Like,
oh, yeah.
I mean...
And it's also because she's not, like, really naturally, like, a funny, sarcastic person. Like, even when she made that joke to Lisa Vanderpump about, like, making out with Peter.
I can't make out with Peter.
Yeah.
With the customers. And then when... They asked her, like, about the pinata. And they were like, oh, it's supposed to be Tom Schwartz. And Lala goes, are you turned on? Well, I'm not turned on. And then they just stare at her, like Christina and Lala do. And she's like, I'm just kidding. And they just are silent.
Yeah, they're like, I don't think she's kidding. Because she was like, no comedic timing. No, because honestly, she's probably serious about all this shit. So it's like, it's not coming across as like comedy or sarcasm.
She doesn't know the difference between satire and seriousness. She just, to her, it's all the same.
But like, again, like the fact that those words came out of your mouth while you know you are having an affair with Tom Sandoval. That is like, that's the psychosis that I keep thinking. Like, that is like where I'm like, you are an actual monster. Like, this isn't all coincidence.
Yeah.
This isn't just you happening to say this and then editing, put it in, and it just works out. Like, no, you said this while you were actively with a friend's man. Like that, like you are sick.
Best friend.
You are sick
friend.
in the head. Like you are fucking sick. And I do believe she needs help in therapy, but I still think her apology is bullshit because she didn't get that therapy yet. So.
I just like to put this in context. At this point, this is how fucked up it is. And like now, my brain, I'm feeling less sorry for Rachel when I think about it this way. You and I have become very good friends. Mm-hmm. I feel. That would be like if I stayed over at your house, and I were doing this with your fiance behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I can't even. What in God's name makes you go, hey, let me go ahead and pursue it? I know I've said this all like a few times. But I just want everyone to really stop and think. Mm-hmm. A newer friend that you've become good friends with. And then they literally, your partner, like you're like, oh, I trust them to be over here. That you just wouldn't even think twice about letting them stay in your guest room if they've been drinking too much or something like that.
Right.
And that person actually is like, I am like, it makes me emotional. It makes me so mad.
It's because it's just like
Like, I'm tearing
unfathomable.
up. It makes me so mad to think about. I cannot, like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I am tearing up because I cannot on any level grasp how someone could be that diabolical. And so now I don't feel sorry for Rachel anymore.
Well, they say
In any
a lot of people could be psychopaths, but you don't have to be a murderer to be a psychopath. Like,
This is true.
Many people have a psychopathic brain, and I think she might have one because like the lack of conscience, like he's obviously a fucking asshole for sure. Like, I know we're just talking about her, like, but at this point,
Well, he's the one that was in the relationship.
Yeah,
so
like,
I feel like he's worse.
No, for sure. Like, he definitely shocked me. But, like, I guess I just expected him to have... the men on this show, it's just less shocking. Like, I just expected her to have more of, like, a guilty conscience and, like, a good heart and, like, feelings. And I don't know, like, I just expected so much more from her that, like, I would be so sick to my stomach even if it was just, like you said, like a slip up or like a one night stand hookup. Like, that alone would tear me apart, let alone like, oh, we're traveling together. What? I'm going home to see your family on Christmas. I'm going to your shows that Ariana's not even at. Like, I'm spending New Year's Eve with you knowing Ariana's not here.
And it's worse, like, putting it, I hate that I'm sorry that I hit it close to home, but putting it in the real world context, like, it is that much worse to me now.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't thought of it that way. And now I'm like, oh my God, because that would be like the same thing.
Yeah.
That is so fucked up. Like, I mean, how did you explain that to Ariana? I don't get it.
Well, I don't think she did. She said, I think I also saw she tried to like reach out to Ariana and apologize, and she's like, no.
No,
and like,
she should.
The whole thing is, like, I said it on my podcast this past week when I first talked about it. Like, what did they expect? Like, they're like, well, we wanted to tell her. Okay, so you're going to break up with her. And then in the same breath, next day, whatever, you're like, and by the way, Raquel and I are dating. Like,
by the
okay.
way, I've been putting my penis in another vagina.
Right, for a year.
I'm sorry, but
for a whole year.
That is how grotesque it really is.
So it's just, that's when that's when, like, this all came out. I just really expected both of them to just lock themselves in a room, put out a really good apology, be, like, devastated that, like, yes, like, they made a mistake and it was a year-long mistake, so it's not like it's so easily forgiven, but, like, show something. And neither of them did, and I only think Raquel or Rachel is home because her parents are literally probably, like, threatening her life. Like, you better get your ass here. You're done,
or
like, filming. Yeah, like, something. Because she did not want to leave Tom. She wanted to stay.
And there's no way, even if she's making a decent amount from Vanderpump Rules, to still survive in Los Angeles, she needs her parents' help. Believe you me, to have a 2-bedroom apartment in even...
That's
even
true.
in
Her apartment's
Valley
really
Village,
cute, like, and nice. Like...
Yeah, the way it is now, you have to be making 6 figures to have a 2-bedroom apartment. Period.
Yeah.
And 6 figures, not easy to make. And she's not making... She's probably made...
she's probably making 6 figures, but, like, I'm sure if that, like, there's not, like, that much left over if her, like, apartment's that expensive. You know? Like...
I could probably figure out which building she is in, because I'm pretty certain I know which building Tom is in, and if it's like a 5-minute walk. It's not a really expensive area. We almost moved into that building, and I've said all of this so many times I can't remember who I've said it to, so bear with me. So I'm trying to remember, but one of the many reasons why I didn't move into the building Tom's in is because I was like, oh, it's so far away from everything. Yeah.
I feel like it's also...
I'm going to guess her 1-bedroom is probably $2,800 at least. $2,900 depending on the amenities.
It's also pretty bad if Erica Jane's, like, crisis PR team drops you. Like, you know, they probably heard her story and were like, no, you don't have a fucking anything in this game. Like, we can't help you.
They said orphans and widows were an easier explanation than your ass.
That's like when it's you, like, that's bad. So that alone should tell you that her story is bullshit. So
that's terrible. I'm just kind of dying to see how it plays out.
I know.
Reunions in like 2.5 weeks.
I know. I hope the reunion works out the way we think it would. And I am glad we got to talk about this today for both our podcasts because honestly, like, there's also just nothing else going on, which makes this even more all-consuming. Like, there's no, like, literally no other news. Like, no other, like
I know.
The
And
shows
what are
weren't
we
that
gonna do?
exciting this week. Like, I would like something new to happen in another realm, but this is all that's happening. Like, and there's, like I said, there's something new every day. Like, so it's just, it's
yeah.
crazy.
I mean, it's funny, like, I know we're going to wrap here, but, like, you know, when I started doing my podcast and doing all of this, I was like, oh, I'm just going to be, like, talking about the shows I've been watching since I was, like, 16.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to get to, like, I watch all of them. It's going to be so fun to do that. And I didn't even consider this shit.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were done with, like, controversies like this. Just, like everyone's saying, like, season 2 VPR was, like, unmatched. And I just cannot believe we've, like, somehow gotten back to that. Like, because you just think it would never happen. Like, people get smarter with reality. Like, you know, they know they're on a show. Like, yeah, like, there's drama, but I didn't realize I couldn't have predicted we'd be talking about something like this again.
No. And season 11, I'm nervous that they're going to be fucked because I also, another thing Stassi did say on her podcast was the thing about Vanderpump Rules is it's always real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard that.
Like, sometimes people plan certain things, but, like, that's why some seasons aren't as great because if nothing's really going on, they're not going to force it. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I do too. And I think that's why sometimes we're like, you know, if it's not working, like it's not working because we do like that it's real. You can tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I know you and I are going to be talking about this.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be texting. I'm sure we'll get off of this and hear 5 more news stories about it. So.
I mean, just as soon as I hit stop on the recording, it's going to be. I'm so glad we got to.
I know this was fun
for our mutuals.
I know.
Rate her podcast 5 and above,
and rate hers. We're desperate for all. I tell people, I'm like, I don't care if you listen. Like, obviously, I'd love if you listen, but we really need ratings. We need give me 5 stars. Say you love it.
My ratings are not great.
It's impossible.
My ratings are not good.
It's
really sad.
My average is going down. I'm definitely pissed. I'm definitely annoying people. That's not my things.
It's, you know what? It's a talent of mine, so
yeah.
To annoy people. So, in fact, I was telling you that the other night. Yeah, listen, 5 stars, okay? Just do it. It's if you knew how much it meant, you would just do it. You hit like very quickly on so many Instagram posts.
I know, it takes a second.
You don't have to like write anything, just hit it for both of us. You know? Okay. Thank you for listening, friend.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun, and I'm sure we'll be chatting about this again soon.
Yeah. Oh, what did we call everyone last time? It was because they were besties and witches, so our bitches.
Yeah, bitches.
Love you, bitches.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.